Just where I can see what I wrote. Otherwise, it's going to be really long.
Oh, no.
With your help, I can secure the Republican nomination on June 12th, and then I can take on Nina Titus and keep her in retirement and out of the United States Congress. We can all agree that somebody who earned the nickname of Tax Us has no place in the United States Congress, and for that matter, she doesn't have any place in any public office anywhere at any time. Now it's going to take us to be united in this effort to keep her out of office, and I'm going to need a lot of your help because none of us want her to return to Congress and become Nancy Pelosi's rubber stamp again. We had plenty of that before, we don't need it anymore. I'm going to ask three things of you tonight. I'm going to ask for your vote in the primary and the general election. I saw you ready there. I said, okay, I'll wait for it. Second is that I'm going to ask you to sign up to be a volunteer to help me out. I've got a special initiative over the course of the next 2 weeks, and I need a lot of people to help me make a lot of phone calls. And the third is I'm going to send around Nina Titus's retirement fund, and I'm going to ask you to contribute to it so that we can help keep Nina out of the Congress and back somewhere in Nevada very depressed and annoyed. Now, as that's going around, I'm going to tell you why I'm running. Like everyone here, I love my country, and it's in trouble. We all know the problems and the crises, and we also know that the folks in Washington are not solving those problems. In 2008, the progressive liberals took over Washington. They jerked the steering wheel to the left, a very hard left, stepped on the gas, and they started heading us over a cliff. Now in 2010, we were able to elect 88 new Republicans, and they were able to tap on the brake a little bit. They kind of got the steering wheel a little bit more to the right. But the fact of the matter is, there's still too many liberals in Washington, D.C. controlling things. In this election year, we've got to send many more Republicans to Washington in order to get the wheel back under our control and get our country back to safety. I want to be one of those Republicans. Now, as a naval officer with 25 years of experience, I've got a lot of leadership, management, and strategic planning skills that I want to bring to bear. Now, on the other hand, our opponent-to-be, Nina Titus, has accomplished three things. Three little things in the same 25 years. She's voted for every tax that she could possibly find. She's gotten a government paycheck at every opportunity she could find. And she's become the top 1% of our country. If you saw the report, she's now worth somewhere around $8 billion. Coming out of government paychecks. That is quite a feat, and we need to put an end to that. Now, in 2010, another military reserve officer took on the challenge of Nina Titus. We all knew him then as Joe, and now we're proud to call him Congressman. Now, he did that with a lot of help of people in this room and across Southern Nevada. Now, with his determination, I'm going to be inspired to do the same thing, but I'm going to need your help. I need a lot of your help because you know how tough Nina is going to be. Now, if he can take the professor and send her back to school, I think we can keep her out of the Congress. Now, you notice we have a couple members of the Young Activist College Republicans here. Mark was able to send her banished into retirement. My goal is to keep her banished. Now, on June 12th, we Republicans have to elect a candidate, or nominate a candidate, who can do that. And I want to earn your trust, your support, and your vote tonight to be that candidate. I offer a record of service to our country of 25 years. After I graduated from Notre Dame, I was commissioned an ensign in the United States Navy, and I started my very long career. I know what it's like to be overseas, thousands of miles away from your home, your family, your friends, your community, your life, for months on end, and oftentimes in some of the worst parts of the world that you really don't want to go to. I also know the kind of toll that it takes on the individual service members and their families. I know I've got a good buddy of mine named Dave, who was one of the most outstanding, gregarious guys when he started one of his deployments. I saw him a couple years later after a tour in Iraq, and he was a disaster. I mean, it was so bad he even went back home and sold his Harley Davidson. Now, when a man sells his Harley Davidson, you know that things are not going well. But I also deployed with a guy named Kyle, who was a member of my reserve unit. About 7 months later, I wrote his eulogy. and it was 11 days before he was due to return to his wife. So I know the sacrifices that are made, I know the toll it takes, and I believe we need more members of the veterans in the Congress who understand these things and will make sure that we take care of veterans and their families. And we also have to have representatives in Congress that will understand how to take, or how the congressional legislation will be taken by the executive branch and turned into hundreds and thousands of rules and regulations. I happen to have a lot of experience with that because of my job with the Secretary of the Air Force. That's exactly what I did. I learned everything from how to write the policy, how to implement it, how to do program management, how to do federal budgeting, how to do federal contracting. I also learned how to be a really good steward of the people's money. The fiasco with GSA and their scandal here would never have happened in our office because it's insane. We always had the Washington Post test where if something happened, would you be okay with it showing up on the Washington Post front page? Well, obviously, the folks that are there now don't quite understand that, and they're more than happy to take thousands of our dollars and spend it on mind readers for the brainless. So we just don't need that kind of activity going on. Now, I kind of wonder if our opponent, to be Texas Titus, really still grasps the fact that things like cash for clunkers and clowns for conferences are just not the way to be spending taxpayers' money. We need representatives who are much more sane. Now, this campaign could be very negative. We could vote. Yeah, I know it could be really negative. For me, by me, and about me, to say the least. And I'm just waiting to see what will happen. But the fact of the matter is, I want to focus on the solutions, because that's what the people really deserve.
One day, right?
The real issues out here, and I'm sure you are in alignment with them, is that we need jobs for our people, access to credit for our businesses, smaller government, less spending, fewer regulations, and a gargantuan dose of common sense. Now, when it comes to jobs, we all know that the best that the government can really do is set a good stage for businesses to survive and thrive. However, we haven't been doing that. The government has been spending too much time demonizing small businesses and abusing them. We need to stop that. One of the things that we also have to stop is Tax-mageddon. I don't know if you've heard of Tax-mageddon, but it might be coming. On January 1st of next year, the Bush-era tax cuts are going to end. That will be a $500 billion tax on small businesses. On top of it, the real costs of Obamacare are going to hit the country. That's hundreds of billions of dollars more in taxes. Now, for you and I, we don't like that, but there are rumors that Dina Titus is planning to change her birthday in celebration of Tax-mageddon. Now, the rest of us, however, know that there's nothing to celebrate. This would devastate the economy, destroy the job market, and bring our economy to the knees. We cannot afford to let Tax-mageddon take hold. Instead, we have to have positive policies for our businesses, let them grow, let them thrive, and get our people back to work. I'm also hearing that, like everyone here, we don't like the amount of money that's being spent, and we don't like the amount of debt that we're currently facing. It's insane. On the spending side, we are about to spend $3.8 trillion in the next fiscal year. If you break it down, that's $10 billion a day, $420 million an hour, $700,000 a minute. Now, I think each and every one of us would love to have the kind of money that Bill Gates, Sheldon Adelson, or the Donald Trump have. It'd be great. We could live 1,000 generations on that kind of money. However, all of Bill Gates' money will not even cover 6 days of government operations next year. Sheldon Adelson will not even be able to afford 2 days. And the Donald, he won't even be able to cover 6 hours. That's how insane it is. What's really bad about all this federal deficit is we've got nothing to show for it. We don't have brand new highways, bridges, we don't have great infrastructures, we don't have new industries, we don't even have jobs to show for it. And what's going to be worse is that over the course of the next